Oh, for fuck's sake. Hmm. Yo, Chris. Stop. Ah, man. Okay, this is done. This. I'm ready.
They aren't gonna believe this on the outside.
What?
Yeah, bring it on. Yeah, bring it on.
Kurwa.
Yeah, bring it on.
No kurwa, the spread. Yo.
Brian the Metalhead said yo.
Up hard. Man, this game sucks. I hate this game. to find a way to like do this better. Ja pierdolę. Okay, that's... Oh no, more? They're gonna cry, oh, you damaged the crate.
Need any help moving that stuff?
We got it. And Cole, thanks for your help.
This mean we're talking again?
We'll see.
Cole, I pinned down Sasha's location. She's operating out of the Jefferson Tunnel. Head to the location marked on your GPS, and I'll fill you in when you get there.
Honestly.
All right, Moya. I'm across from the Jefferson Tunnel.
Since the entrance is blocked, you're going to have to figure out a way to get down there. Your best bet is to head into the compound across the street and look for a way to open the gate.
Rock and roll.
I don't know, I'm doing something wrong. Oh. Ah, there's some bullshit. Kurwa, I hate this fucking shit. Ja pierdolę. Co za kurestwo. Fucking.
Sweet, delicious Cole. Coming home at last. I've been waiting for you. Longing for you.
Just shut up. Sick of you guys.
Kurwa, again.
What's this? No, that's not possible. Fly!
No, kurwa, ty...
Moya, I think I found where they're making the Reapers. Bunch of people down here, locked in cages. Machines spraying the black tar all over them.
Get them out of there, and then deal with Sasha.
My pleasure.
You think I don't see her? The way you're parading her around like a common Jezebel? Oh, I see everything now, Kessler. All of it.
Damn, what the...
Darling, what took you? Was there traffic? I told you not to take the bridge. It's always backed up at night. Get dressed. We have dinner plans tonight. Of course I told you. Silly.
You gotta be kidding me.
Stop trying to confuse me.
Keep talking. Damn nutjobs.
They're expecting us at 7. Of course it's earlier. I laid out your tuxedo. And I made soup from the neighbor's bones. You want a taste?
that she's down, it's time to get up close and personal. Damn it!
Yes! Yes! I love it.
Hold still.
Remember the weekend in vain? Stayed in bed the entire time, and oh,
He's delusional.
whispered to me. Promises you made.
Shut the hell up.
Why, Kessler? Why do you love her?
I blow myself up.
Why, Kessler? Why do you love her? I'll kill her! I swear it! I'll wear her skin like a robe!
Damn it! Crazy bitch. Crap.
No, do you? Of course not. But you'll find out soon enough. And how you'll weep.
Hell. Why don't you just die? Damn it! Why don't you just die?
You'll never control it, Cole. Look at me. Look at what it's done. It controls you.
Sasha was a piece of shit before the blast. But looking at her now, is this what my powers are gonna do to me? A warped body and twisted mind? Is that my future? Either way, she knows all about the First Sons and their ray sphere. If I'm gonna dig myself out of this hole, it starts with her talking right now.
Wow.
They came fast. Smoke everywhere. Sasha got pulled out. Whoever they were pros, trained for this kind of thing. There was no time to think. Water was pouring in and the place was falling apart. With no way back, I went forward. Into the slums of the ward.
Cole, what happened down there? Is Sasha dead?
I wish. Beat the living hell out of her. But some guys in masks came and grabbed her. Brought the whole tunnel down.
It was probably the First Sons. If we're lucky, they'll take care of her for us.
Yeah, that'd be swell. Listen, the power is out in this whole burrow and I barely have the energy to walk. I'm going to get the nearest substation back online. Zeke, pick up.
Hey, brother. Where the hell you been?
It's a long story. Wanted to let you know I'm over in the Warren.
The Warren? Damn, man. That place was Nightmare Central before the blast. Hate to see what it's like now.
Hasn't gotten any better, that's for sure. I'll give you a call when I figure out how I'm gonna get back home.
Keep your nose to the wind, man.
Some intel on the Warren. A couple of days after the blast, the homeless people living there banded together and seized control of the entire borough. They call themselves the Dustmen.
Guess that explains why they're all wearing trash bags.
I suspect that they're led by an extremely powerful conduit, so it'd be a big mistake to underestimate them.
I get it. Oh, hell yes.
How do you turn them on? Okay.
Brian the Metalhead said lol, suicide smiley face. Brian the Metalhead said okay, time to sleep, GN mate.
Exactly. Man, I'm fighting against frame rates and fucking...
in style.
Oh no. Kurwa.
Hey, Cole. You remember Dwight. Just ran into his sister, and she thinks he's in some kind of trouble. Wants to know if you'll look for him.
Dwight. Didn't that guy steal your car and strip it down for parts?
Yeah, he was a real tool. But, you know, I've dug his sister for a real long time now, and, you'd be doing me a real solid with this one.
And you think if I find Dwight, she'll reward you?
Well, hell, it's not like I can do anything from here. She says Dwight was hanging around the Chummy Chicken the last time they talked, and guess he was working over there. That might be a good place for you to start.
Cole, are you there?
Hi, Trish.
It's getting... Cole, are you there?
Hi, Trish.
It's getting bad over here. People are dying and there's nothing I can do. I need to get a bus over to Bayview and see if it still has any supplies.
I came through the tunnel and it's trashed. Same with the Stone Canal drawbridge.
You remember Roger Miller from Amy's graduation? He's a city engineer that used to work with my dad, and if anyone can fix the bridge, it'd be him. He lives by Valentine Park.
I'll try and find him.
More missions.
This doesn't look good. Trish, I think I found Roger. He must have done something to piss these guys off because they're all over him.
There's a rumor going around that the transients are kidnapping engineers and mechanics, using them as slave labor. The worst part is that they publicly execute anyone who refuses to work. If they've got Roger, you have to take them all out at the same time, or they'll kill him.
Don't worry. I'll handle it.
You're that guy, aren't you? The one with the powers.
Yeah. Listen, are you Roger Miller? Trish Daly sent me. She's hoping you can fix the Stone Canal drawbridge.
Trish? She's stuck in the quarantine too.
Afraid so.
Hell. Used to go camping with them, you know? Kind of fell out of touch when her old man got transferred upstate. Hey, what about Amy? She make it out?
Yeah, she did.
Good. Good. I hate to see both those girls stuck in here.
Yeah, we have to go like all this.
This is screwed up 9 ways from Sunday. Watch my back. This is gonna take a while.
I knew it.
Harless deserted EZYZ0.
Oh, fuck off, man.
Said best viewers on streamboo.com. Remove the space at UI7X.
Guess they don't want the bridge open. Damn circuits are fried. Kill them! All of them!
Kurwa, Petfield, kurwa. Fuck.
Guess they don't want the bridge open. Damn circuits are fried. Kill them! All of them!
Ja pierdolę, and every time it's like this.
Guess they don't want the bridge open. Damn circuits are fried. Kill them! All of them!
Ja pierdolę. What is the difficulty?
Guess they don't want the bridge open. Damn circuits are fried. Kill them! All of them!
You about done over there?
Working as fast as I can. There we go. You've got to be kidding me. Hydraulics on the other side aren't engaging.
Well, can you fix them?
No. Has to be done on the far side of the bridge. Hey, hold on. I know someone who might be able to help us. Lou? It's Roger. The number 4 hydraulic on the south side of SC isn't engaging, and I need your help getting it online. Where are you?
Memorial Park near the bridge, but unless you're carrying a gun, I'm not going anywhere. Reapers are swarming all over this place.
Yeah, well, I'm sending something that's better than a gun. See you in a bit.
They always like...
Going to have to hit those guys fast. You all right?
Holy crap, that was insane. Did Roger send you?
Yeah, let's go. So what did the Reapers want with you?
They heard the transients are looking for engineers to work on their tower, so they were going to trade me. Figured they'd get a reward or something.
Seems like a lot of work to build a monument to garbage.
All I know is that working on that thing is a death sentence. They work you until you drop, and then they pop you in the head.
Here we go again.
Keep an eye out. Lots of Reapers roaming around. Here they come. They're not giving up.
Fucking shotgun guy.
Here they come. blowing up!
It's safe now. Get that thing fixed.
There's more of them!
Hey, need some help over here.
Tell Roger I'm on my way.
I don't think the transients are gonna cause me any more problems. Better go check on Lou.
Damn it! Everything checks out, but the power grid is under voltage. There's not enough juice to fire the hydraulics.
Stand back.
Look, I'd love to stay and chat, but I gotta find someplace safe. See you around.
And to think, if I'd taken early retirement, I would have missed all this. Well, I need to have my head examined.
Thanks for helping with the bridge.
And no sweat. Tell Trish I said hello.
Hi, you've reached Trish Daly's voicemail. Please leave a message.
Trish, I just wanted to let you know that the drawbridge is down. I'll give you a call later and see how things are going.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I hope you blow a breaker. Way to go.
Dwight's dead, Zeke. Someone really messed him up.
Oh, man. His sister's gonna flip out when I tell her that. Well, hell, you should find the guys who did it. I could play off that angle, maybe. Come on, man, I need this.
There is something deeply wrong with you, Zeke.
What the hell?
No, stay away from me!
You used that psychic vision dealie to see the killer?
Hard to make out. Looked like a man and a dog or something.
Dwight was killed by a dog? Damn. Had a cousin that went the same way. Whew. I shouldn't have had an open casket, but old Smitty wanted one. People were passing out, puking, you name it. It was horrible. Still haven't recovered from that one.
Holy crap, you're him. It's great what you're doing. The way you're cleaning up this place.
What are those posters supposed to be for?
Just trying something out, you know? Spreading word about you, what you're doing. Which one do you like?
Since this guy is gonna hang those up anyway, I might as well decide how people should view me. Do I want them to love me? Or fear me?
Choose love, boss.
I like that one.
Right on! I'll print up more of those and start hanging them all over the city. It's gonna be awesome!
Zeke is never gonna believe this one.
Okay, 1 second. for?
Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't see you.
You gotta be kidding me.
After dark.
You gotta be kidding me.
I'm doing these missions and then I quit.
You gotta be kidding me. Not yet. Dealing with some crab things that are running all over the place. I think the transients are making them from old parts.
Well, keep looking, man. Gotta find that trash bag that killed Dwight.
Thank God, because I would
monsters. Finally found your sorry ass. Hey Zeke, I took care of the guy that greased Dwight. And just so we're clear, this was a one-time deal. I'm not doing this to help you score.
Hey, I hear you, brother. I owe you a big one.
Hey Zeke, you still on the roof?
You know it, brother. Trying to hook up with Dwight's sister. You swinging by for a little siesta?
Yeah. See you in a bit.
Oh my god. No, I'm saving this. Oh my god, I almost died. I guess I'm full thinking. I wanna check something. Complete lore.
Cole McGrath is your everyday bike courier from Empire City with an unhealthy fondness for parkour. He had friends, hobbies, a life, all things you need for a video game plot to royally f you over. One day on the job, Cole was told to deliver a mysterious package.
Like the good courier that he is, he asks no questions and simply does what he is told.
While on the job, Cole receives an odd phone call.
Of course he answers it, because plot. The dude on the phone instructs him to open the package that he was told to deliver. He denies his person's request because he's the hero of our story. He's a respectable citizen who would never—
The guy offers him money. Then he opens it. The package held something called the Ray Sphere. Once Cole opened the package, the Ray Sphere immediately exploded and completely destroyed the historic district of Empire City.
Well, this is why you don't touch other people's shit.
A few days after the accident, Cole wakes up in a hospital and is greeted by his girlfriend Trish and his best friend Nate. But Cole feels different. He's not the same bike messenger that he was before the accident. It turns out that the explosion gave him the power to control electricity.
Hold up. So you mean this dude opened someone else's property, set off a bomb that destroyed a shit ton of civilians in a huge part of the city, then got blessed with superpowers? That's some old bullshit.
Well, things did not only change for him. A plague fell on the majority of the citizens of Empire City. Crime was at an all-time high. People were dying left and right. A criminal group known as the Reapers took this as their chance to take over Empire City and continue to terrorize its people. As a response, the government quarantined the whole city in order to block it off from the rest of the world.
As the city was tearing itself apart, Cole began training himself to master his newfound powers. With the help of Zeke, he manages to control it.
As Zeke and Cole work together to survive this hell, a mysterious person called the Voice of Survival makes himself known throughout the community via television broadcasts. He lets the people of Empire City know that Cole set off the bomb that caused this whole mess. He is the reason why the city is in shambles.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Not only was Cole now seen as a terrorist,
Did you know in Infamous Second Son, when we achieve platinum, Delsin will break the fourth wall and also our hearts by saying this?
You know what, buddy? You and I have been through a lot. But I gotta tell you, officially, we're done.
Did you know in
What do Direct Nation? Infamous fans, it's time to sit up a little straighter in your gaming chairs because we just got an unexpected update on the future of one of the best superhero franchises ever, directly from the studio that first brought it to the world, Sucker Punch. So today on Super News Bits, I'll quickly tell you everything you need to know about what's next for Infamous in 3 minutes or less. First, smash that like button so YouTube shares news, or change it to a dislike if the video was dog water. Before bringing Japan to life like never before with Ghost of Tsushima, Sucker Punch was most famous for their superhero games. In 2009, they dropped the genre-defying Infamous for the PS3, which introduced the world to Cole McGrath, a bike messenger caught in an explosion that gave him the power to manipulate electricity. They will go on to release 2 more games in the series, with new protagonist Delsin taking over in the 3rd game, and the speedster Abigail being the main character of the standalone expansion. The games were widely loved for their exciting open world superhero combat, which to me was more fun than the Arkham games, which were just launching at the time as well. The games also featured a karma system that would judge players when they perform good or evil actions that would change the story, combat, and character progression, as well as how the citizens treated you. But after the success of Ghost of Tsushima, and with Sucker Punch about to launch its follow-up Ghost of Yotei, fans assumed that Sucker Punch no longer wanted to explore the Infamous franchise and were instead focused on telling stories set in Japan. Well, fortunately for us, Sucker Punch also feels the same way as us Infamous fans and thinks the world needs more. In an interview with Game Informer about the upcoming Ghost of Yotei, creative director at Sucker Punch Nate Fox unexpectedly expressed his desire to revive the superhero franchise. The director said he wants to work on a new entry in the series, as well as do a re-release of the original trilogy. That last part seems like an easy W for PlayStation, since Second Son and the expansion First Light are in the PS Plus catalog, but the first 2 games can only be streamed because they're on PS3. Now, Nate said they were a 1-game studio and are focused on Yotei, which means unlike a studio such as Insomniac, they don't have 2 or 3 projects happening at once. But Ghost of Yotei launches in October, and post-launch content would already be planned out in advance. So after that's done, Nate may direct Sucker Punch to return to the Infamous franchise, especially if Ghost of Yotei fails to capture the same financial success as
Nah, it's just a speculation. In 10 years.
From the beginning of his story, Cole McGrath is shown to be an ordinary guy. He's just a simple bike courier that you wouldn't even look twice at. This is all changed when he unknowingly takes a device called the Ray Sphere in what he thinks is a regular delivery. In this delivery, the device mysteriously explodes, causing a massive... After Cole's death and the activation of the RFI, it was believed by the general public that he had saved
Beautiful. I was thinking I'm gonna skip spoilers.
world, but in doing so made the necessary sacrifice and eradicated all conduits from the Earth. However, this is untrue, and actually some conduits survived. This is because their conduit gene had naturally evolved to somehow survive the RFI. Of course, the government knew conduits survived, but in an attempt to hide them from the traumatized world, they created the Department of Unified Protection, or the DUP for short. The DUP was tasked with the goal to detain, or if needed, eradicate the remaining conduits, renamed to bioterrorists, who were popping up one by one every single day. This was difficult at first, but it got easier over the years once they developed ways to find and suppress bioterrorist powers. Finally, around 7 years after the activation of the RFI, it was believed all bioterrorists had been locked away for good. This ultimate accomplishment was enough for the government to begin shutting down the DUP and transporting all bioterrorists from the DUP prisons to military-owned facilities. The very first transport truck began taking 3 bioterrorists from the DUP's own Curtin K station to an army prison in upstate Washington, but as you might know, it would never arrive. Delsin Rowe is a proud member of the Akomish tribe, and just like Cole, he is an unruly outcast with a rebellious nature. From a young age, he took graffiti as a way to express that side of him, and that is the first thing we get to see about Delsin as he vandalizes a billboard atop a fish cannery. This specific billboard features a cop, the symbol of law and order, but just as Delsin is finishing up on his artwork, he hears the sound of a police siren and immediately retreats inside of the cannery. Here is where sweet old Betty, Delsin's motherly figure, finds him, and while she doesn't condone his actions, she also doesn't hesitate to help him and escape to find an alibi at the tribe's longhouse. Delsin takes off to get to the longhouse as fast as he can, but on arrival, he is met by his brother Reggie, who is a police officer. In fact, he's the same one whose face was plastered on that billboard that Delsin just vandalized. Reggie begins to immediately scold Delsin about his attitude and actions, noting how embarrassing it is having his own brother act the way he does, but Delsin is lost in the conversation, too distracted by a truck that is hurtling down the road. Before the truck reaches the two of them, it flips over, and you can see two bioterrorists escape. Reggie chases after two, but Delsin notices one beside the truck. He walks up to the man on the ground and tries to help him up. This act of kindness almost immediately backfires as soon as Reggie arrives back on the scene, and the man then uses Delsin as a hostage to try to escape. Delsin, in an attempt to get away from the man, grabs his hand, but as soon as they touch, Delsin's fate was forever changed. He began to see a sudden rush of images about this man, none of which made sense to him, but as soon as he came back into his own mind, Delsin noticed that he was now a conduit and had almost the exact same smoke abilities as the convict he helped. In an effort to understand what was happening, Delsin chased after the man, and upon touching his hand again, he got to see his memories, but this time he understood them. Delsin learned that the DUP were bad news, and if you ended up getting caught by them, you would effectively be treated as a test subject and barely like a human. This struck fear to Delsin, as now he finally realized that he was on the other end of this bioterrorist problem that had been raging for years. After a quick fight, the convict escaped outside, and Delsin chased him only to find a group of DUP agents waiting for them on the other end. This is where Delsin meets the head of the DUP, Brooke Augustine, and he finally learns the smoke man's name is Hank, which is short for Henry. Augustine is yet another conduit, and a powerful one in fact. She used her concrete powers to detain and capture bioterrorists in an effort to, quote, fight fire with fire, therefore showing Delsin how ruthless she really is. On a side note, the DUP has also learned how to instill her power into other DUP agents, giving most of them a small taste of her concrete powers, as well as allowing them to capture bioterrorists with the highest level of efficiency. After showing off her power and seemingly killing Hank, Augustine questions Delsin about what Hank might have told him. Delsin denies any and everything, but Augustine knows better and gives him a choice. Either give up what he knows, or the tribe gets tortured by her power until he finally tells her something. This is the first karmic choice you get in Second Son, but unlike the other two games, there's not really a canon ending. But seeing as most people that play these games go off the good ending, that's mostly what I'm going to base the story off of, while acknowledging what happens if you do choose the evil side, if it's notably different. Delsin decides to sacrifice himself for the sake of the tribe and tells Augustine that he is a conduit, but that somehow he just caught it a second ago from Hank, like it's some sort of sickness. Augustine obviously does not believe Delsin because of how he phrases it, and she begins to cover his legs from the inside out in concrete. This act puts Delsin in excruciating pain, and Augustine, looking for answers, moves on to asking sweet old Betty if she knows anything, before eventually tearing her legs apart with concrete when she lacks a straight answer. Delsin then passes out from his pain and wakes up about a week later to find that the whole tribe has been completely ravaged by Augustine and her power, but that he is completely healed. Before anything, he goes immediately to find Betty, and she tells him that nobody, including her, are getting any better from their concrete wounds, and that they are slowly becoming fatal. With that knowledge, Delsin sets out with Reggie to Seattle to get Augustine's powers and to save the tribe. On their way, Delsin gains some new abilities with these things called core relays, and once arrived, finds out that the DUP have taken over the city in an attempt to find the other two convicts that fled to the city. Delsin sees how utterly oppressed Seattle is and decides that he must help by taking down DUP infrastructure. To make this and taking down Augustine easier, Delsin asks Reggie to help him find more core relays to gain even more abilities. Reggie agrees reluctantly, but notes that he is afraid of Delsin becoming complacent with his newfound power. Continuing his crusade to cripple the DUP, Delsin climbs a space needle and disables their main communications antenna using his new orbital drop ability. He also, true to his roots, vandalizes the big DUP flag that resides atop the needle and marks it with his own symbol of resistance. This, more than anything he's done so far, puts him on Augustine's watch list, and she now begins to keep tabs on Delsin. With the main DUP communications down, Delsin and Reggie can focus on other matters, such as stopping a murder spree caused by one of the escaped conduits. Reggie makes a few calls and finds some of the crime scenes that the conduit has left behind that the cops have cordoned off. Delsin goes to investigate many of these crime scenes and comes to two conclusions. One, that the conduit isn't outright evil, as he is only targeting drug dealers. And two, he seems to have a certain artistic flair just like himself, but he uses his neon powers to make the art and not a can of spray paint. At the final crime scene, Delsin finds a drug dealer's duffel bag and goes to investigate, only to almost get hit by a neon blast shot by the conduit from a sniper's nest. Delsin chases after him, but he's just too fast, and Delsin gives up on his chase. He then makes his way up to the sniper's nest and finds that the man in question is not actually a man at all, as evidenced by all the quote girly stuff. Delsin also finds the name Brent mysteriously drawn on the wall in neon, and a neon drawing of a face that is assumed to be this mysterious Brent person. Reggie runs the drawing through facial recognition and finds out that it is in fact a man named Brent Walker, a drug dealer found dead with an unknown chest wound in an alleyway. Delsin travels to this alleyway and finds an altar in Brent's honor made by the neon girl. In one corner of the room, they find another neon drawing of Brent along with a bag of food from a place named Olaf's. Both Reggie and Delsin suspect that the neon girl might be hiding out near the big neon Olaf sign, and Delsin camps out there waiting until night for her to arrive. Here, he also learns from some bioterrorist protesters that her name is in fact Fetch Walker. When Fetch finally shows up to the Olaf sign, Delsin reaches for her hand, and upon doing so is granted a brief scrambled flash of her memories and his brand new neon powers. Fetch immediately runs off, and Delsin chases after her with his newfound ability to run at breakneck speeds. He chases her all the way to an abandoned theater where he finally takes her down, and in doing so, grabs her hand once more, finally revealing her troubled past. Abigail Fetch Walker was just as surprised as anyone else when her powers randomly emerged one day. Her parents, now fearful of her, called the DUP to take her away, not fully knowing what was going to happen to her. But Fetch was not completely alone, as her older brother Brent instead accepted her for her differences, and they both ran away, living off what they could for years. While on the streets, they ran into some drug dealers that hooked them up, and from then on, she only had one concern: getting her next fix. Afterwards, her life was a downward spiral that eventually led to her darkest moment, when she accidentally killed the only other person she cared about, Brent. The DUP easily picked her up after that, but to her surprise, it wasn't a regular prison. They taught her how to shoot, how to kill, and how to control her powers, so on that day of the crash, she escaped with more than enough skill to exact her revenge on the people she saw responsible for Brent's death. One by one, she took down dealer after dealer because in her mind, nobody else should have to suffer like she did with Brent in her darkest moments. Reggie then wakes Delsin up from this sudden memory dump and urges him to turn Fetch in because she is a bad person. Delsin doesn't accept that, now knowing her full past, and he has a choice: either redeem her and focus her powers for the greater good, or corrupt her, which would be supporting her vengeful past. Delsin chooses to redeem Fetch, and together they find core relays to help Delsin get more uses out of his neon power. Afterwards, Delsin helps Fetch take down some major drug rings by stopping and destroying drug shipments. On the other hand, if you chose to corrupt Fetch, she helps you find and kill the leader of Seattle's anti-conduit rallies. Both of these decisions end with Delsin and Fetch, shall we say, having a closer relationship, and she ends up either becoming more merciful or more ruthless. The next morning, Delsin gets word from Reggie that the other conduit and Augustine reside in the lower half of the city, so he makes his way to the concrete bridge connecting the two landmasses. Making his way across the bridge, he defeats DUP agents, turrets, and once again comes face to face with Augustine herself. Augustine sternly says that she's been keeping tabs on Delsin, and she's heard that he has a new power. Delsin denies this, but is forced to reveal his neon power when she sends a highly skilled concrete DUP agent to fight him. After defeating the DUP agent, Delsin tells Augustine that he will leave the city immediately, but all that he needs is a small amount of her power to remove the concrete from the tribe. Augustine scoffs at this and partially traps him in concrete, but when all hope seems lost, a mysterious entity picks Delsin up and carries him exactly where he needed to go to begin with. After some exploring in this part of the city, Delsin gets a call from a fan of his named Eugene. He says that he's a conduit sympathizer and that he's been tracking buses of suspected conduits that the DUP has in a convoy. Delsin, in hopes of saving the suspected conduits and maybe getting new powers, stops the convoy and searches for the buses that hold them. A problem arises when Delsin can never actually find any of the conduits themselves because they keep being snatched up by these so-called angels that were created by the escaped conduit hiding in this part of the city. Delsin asks Reggie for help, and Reggie says to meet up with him because he has a crazy idea. Reggie's plan is to put on a vest that is used to mark suspected conduits and for Delsin to chase him so that when an angel shows up, they can eventually find where the escaped conduits keep taking them. Delsin thinks that this idea is absolutely crazy, but goes along with it anyway, and they eventually find the conduit's hiding spot, just like Reggie said they would. Delsin walks inside to find piles of these suspected conduit vests and tons of computer equipment, mostly consisting of monitors. When he goes near one of these monitors, he's taken inside a virtual world where he must fight He Who Dwells, a manifestation of the conduit in his strongest form. After taking He Who Dwells down, Delsin comes face to face with the actual conduit, and it turns out that he has actually been Eugene all along. Delsin grabs his hand and learns about his past, how he had been bullied all through school, and how he uses his powers to help other conduits from the fate that met him when he got picked up by the DUP. While Eugene was incarcerated in Curtain K, he had been trained to use his video powers for both defense and offense. He could either summon video-based angels to protect him and others, or demons to punish those who he thought deserved it. Delsin wakes up and again finds Reggie, who thinks Eugene should be taken into custody for kidnapping suspected conduits against their will. Delsin tells him that Eugene was saving those conduits from the DUP, and from here, you can choose to either redeem or corrupt Eugene. Delsin decides that Eugene is a good kid and leaves him to be for now while he goes to search for more core relays because for some reason, he can't use any of his powers and thinks that maybe activating a core relay might help. It does, and Delsin now had Eugene's unique video powers, and just like before, he goes to find even more core relays and unlocks all the video abilities he can. With his new video powers, Delsin helps Eugene save suspected conduits from the clutches of the DUP, but only if you have redeemed him. If you corrupted Eugene, you both exact your revenge upon a Russian anti-bioterrorist gang. Through both of these paths, Eugene gains his own self-confidence as a conduit and begins to either help save more people or punish those who he thinks deserve it. A while later, Reggie calls Delsin, informing him of an explosion that has been spotted near the main DUP tower. Delsin investigates and finds a group of DUP agents that have been killed using smoke. Delsin, knowing he didn't do it, puts on one of the DUP agents' headsets and listens into their communications, only to find that Hank, who was previously thought dead, is somehow still alive and out of DUP custody. Delsin immediately starts chasing after him, and Hank, out of panic, knocks Delsin out, but still enters his phone number into Delsin's phone. After this, they can contact each other, and Hank reveals that luckily he escaped from the giant DUP tower and that the DUP have captured Fetch and Eugene, holding them on a concrete structure that was built between the two islands. Delsin asks for Hank's help in rescuing them, and Hank agrees, also noting that they can most likely flush out Augustine from doing this act, and with all of them, there's a very good chance that they can defeat her. Delsin thinks this sounds like a great opportunity, and Hank sets a time and place for them to meet up. Delsin immediately tells Reggie about this plan and asks for his help as well, but Reggie doesn't trust Hank at all, and says he won't risk his life for just some conduits, so Delsin is on his own for this one. After a few hours pass, it is time for Delsin to go to this agreed upon location, but on arrival, he finds Reggie, who apparently had a change of heart and is willing to help Delsin, stating explicitly that he doesn't care if the ones he's saving are conduits or not. People are people. Once Hank shows up, the tension in the air between him and Reggie is unavoidable. It's a cop versus a convict, and they both don't trust each other, but they still manage to concoct a plan. Reggie says that he will commandeer a boat and go to the far side of the concrete island in an attempt to ambush, while Delsin and Hank use their smoke to enter through a vent and go full force on the DUP. On the island, Hank seems very suspicious to Delsin, and with every question that he asks, Hank seems to either dodge answering or is very vague in his response. For example, Hank somehow knows about Delsin's need for core relays to grant more powers and promises him that there's one on the island. When asked about how he knows this, Hank just dodges the question and tells Delsin that they have to keep moving forward and that there's no time to talk. After fighting a suspiciously small amount of enemies, they finally encounter said core relay, but Delsin notes that something feels off, and out of nowhere, his hands and legs are covered in concrete. Floating up from out of sight comes Augustine, congratulating Hank for successfully bringing her Delsin. Hank states that he only did this because she promised him something, and Delsin is furious at the betrayal. At this moment, when all things seem to be going in Augustine's way, Reggie comes out of nowhere with a rocket launcher and blasts Augustine away, also breaking Delsin's legs free of concrete. With his hands still bound, he and Reggie make their way to safety and get the concrete off Delsin's hands, but tragedy strikes as soon as Delsin is free, as Augustine traps Reggie's legs in concrete and destroys the ground beneath him. Delsin reacts fast and manages to grab hold of Reggie's hand, but the concrete slowly begins to creep up Reggie's body, making him more and more heavy every single second. Before it can finally reach Delsin, Reggie says in his last words that he has always been proud of Delsin, and that he loves him, and then he lets go of Delsin's hand, falling into the dark water below in his final sacrifice for Delsin's life. Delsin screams out in pain as he watches this happen, and then with everything he has, Delsin goes to fight Augustine. The fight is long and difficult for Delsin, but at the end of the day, he manages to sink the entire island the fight was on, but not take down Augustine in the process as she escapes to her base. Delsin swims to shore with one thing on his mind: revenge. He wants to find Hank and make him pay. He does this by tracking the DUP communications that lead him to a dock where Hank is set to leave the city via a boat. Delsin captures him before this can happen, and it is then Hank reveals that Augustine was threatening his daughter all along. Delsin, still rageful, begins to choke Hank with his chain, but hears his daughter out on the escape boat. Delsin, right then and there, has a choice, at the very last moment, to either get his revenge for his brother's death, or face the reality that Hank was only doing this for his daughter, and that he might do the exact same thing. Delsin decides to spare Hank and let him go free, realizing that he should really be focusing his hatred towards the one who actually killed Reggie, Brooke Augustine. Delsin travels all the way to the DUP tower and shuts down the protective electrical wiring that surrounds it and begins to climb the tower. During the ascension, he's helped by both Fetch and Eugene, who turn out are alive, and as soon as they reach the very top of the tower, Delsin breaks through the roof and is finally face to face with Augustine, ready to either expose her lies to the public or kill her and end her reign. After a short battle, Delsin takes her down, and she surprisingly gives up her power willingly, and in doing so, Delsin gets to see into her mind. Brooke Augustine was there in Empire City 7 years ago. She was one of the many in the military deployed at the time to stop the Beast, but when he destroyed the city, she somehow managed to survive, and she was changed because of it. She found another survivor, a small girl, who was also a conduit, and together, they traveled across the lawless wreckage to find safety. After a while, they finally reached a military checkpoint, but turns out the military were afraid of conduits, and they weren't friendly at all, even with Augustine being a member of the military. Right then and there, Augustine decided that she had to make a choice, and she decided that the best way to keep conduits safe was to imprison them so that no conduit would have to die anymore. Right in front of the military, she encapsulated the little girl in concrete, effectively trapping her and gaining the government's trust in the process, and she was then entrusted to keep society safe away from the rest of the conduits. This was the beginning of the DUP and the Curtin K bioterrorist prison, where she would capture and hold all conduits. Augustine ran the DUP for years, but eventually realized that she did her job too well, and the government was just ready to disband the organization altogether due to their newfound sense of conduit security. Augustine could not let this happen in fear for the conduit's safety, so she planned a way for the public to be scared of conduits once more. She picked out 3 very specific conduits and trained them to use their powers before finally giving one of them the means to make their transport truck crash. Delsin, at the end of the day, to Augustine was just a fluke in the plan, and depending on his choices, was either a beacon of hope for all conduits or just another one of the scary ones the public should be afraid of. Either way, Augustine had an image to uphold for herself and the DUP, and even with Delsin's new concrete power, he would be no match for her. Their fight continued, with Eugene finding core relays to give Delsin more concrete abilities. Delsin struggled in this last battle, but eventually he won, and Augustine finally got a taste of her own medicine. When the dust settled, Augustine was taken away, and her DUP empire was torn down. He also freed all the prisoners at Curtin K, and they were allowed to now make their own choices and be free. The general public had a perception change because of Delsin, and now he was the forerunner in the second wave of how conduits were treated by others. Delsin didn't revel in this feeling for long because he had a promise to keep with the ones he cared about most. Delsin made his way all the way back to the Akomish Longhouse, where he was regarded as a hero by everyone, but especially by Betty. He was able to treat everyone's wounds, which is something that he thought Reggie would be very proud of. Speaking of Reggie, Delsin made sure to correct his prior mistake and repainted the billboard to show that Reggie was truly the world's finest. Of course, that is if Delsin chose to be the good guy. He just as easily could have chosen to be selfish, and if that were the case, well, things would have worked out very much differently. When Delsin took down Augustine, he didn't just take down the person who killed Reggie, he took down the only other person who could stop him. With nobody in his way, Delsin took control of Seattle and destroyed any remains of the DUP before finally making a stop at Curtin K. He let every single conduit go free, but not before shaking each and every one of their hands as they were on their way out. But before he could revel in his newfound powers, Delsin went back to the Akomish Longhouse to fulfill his final promise. But surprisingly, when he arrived, he found that nobody wanted his help. They all saw how he killed dozens of civilians, and Betty told him that they would rather die than accept his help. Delsin could not fathom their rejection. He worked so hard to get to this point, and they just turned him away. But Delsin thought about what Betty said. They would rather die than be saved. And he granted their wish, and put an end to his past life to make room for his new one as the world's most powerful conduit.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, thank you for joining, see you tomorrow, good night.